All right, today we're jumping into a simple but honestly really powerful story that might just change how you think about dealing with critics. Especially the ones who just seem determined to misunderstand you no matter what you say.
So let's just start with a question that really gets to the core of this whole thing. Have you ever felt that deep down exhaustion from constantly trying to justify yourself, to explain your actions or your feelings to people who just don't seem to get it, or maybe don't want to? It's a feeling we've all had, and this story gives us a pretty incredible way to think about it. Okay, so let's get into the story and meet our main character. He's a young lion, his name is Kato, and he was strong, he was brave, but he had this one single weakness that I think a lot of us can relate to.
So here's the deal with Cato. On the outside, this guy had everything going for him. He was a great hunter, respected, the king of the grasslands. But, and this is the big but, his whole sense of self was, well, kind of fragile. It was all built on this constant nagging need for other animals to like him and to get him. His peace of mind didn't come from who he was, but from what others thought about him. And that desperate need for everyone to like him? Well, it's about to get seriously tested. Cato is about to walk straight into a super frustrating situation that shows just how pointless his approach really is. Okay, so try to picture this. Cato's just finished a successful hunt. He's earned his dinner. But then this pack of hyenas rolls up, and they're not there to fight him for the food. No, they're there to attack his character. They start calling him a bully, and it's the perfect trap for someone who needs to be liked. And this is why Cato was doomed from the start. Just look at this breakdown. Their goals are completely different. Cato is trying to be understood, to lay out the facts, to prove he's a good guy. What do the hyenas want? A reaction. They want to feel powerful by poking him and creating chaos. They weren't even playing the same sport, It's like one person trying to have a real debate and the other's just there to set things on fire. And here's what happened. It's so brilliant because it shows exactly what goes wrong. The more he explained, the more he defended himself, the more power he just handed over to them. He thought he was protecting his reputation, but what he was really doing was begging them to approve of him. He made them his judge, and they absolutely loved it. So Cato is just completely drained, totally defeated, and he goes looking for some advice. He seeks out the oldest, wisest lion in the pride, a guy named Jabari, who gives him a solution that sounds, well, completely backwards at first. Now, listen to this because it's super important. Jabari doesn't give him tips on how to win the argument. Nope. He asks this one simple but, man, really profound question. He immediately takes the focus off the hyenas and puts it right back where it belongs, on what Cato knows to be true about himself. And then Jabari puts a name to it. He calls it the losing game. And the idea is just so powerful. It's this act of trying to explain yourself to people who have already made up their minds. The second you start defending yourself, you're basically handing them a gavel and making them the judge of who you are. You've already lost. But he doesn't just tell him, he shows him. The very next day, the hyenas try the same thing on Jabari. They start taunting him, and what does Jabari do? Nothing. He just sits there, completely silent. He completely refuses to play their game. And without his anger to feed off of, their insults just sound lame. They get awkward and just leave, totally confused. All right, so Cato has seen how it's done. Now it's his turn. He's going to try this whole new way of thinking out for himself. So the next time it happens, the hyenas are back at it. The insults start flying. Cruel, selfish. You can just feel that anger bubbling up inside him, right? That instinct to roar back. But he remembers Jabari's lesson, and for one single second, he says nothing. Now, the hyenas are like, wait, what? This isn't part of the script. This isn't fun anymore. So they push harder. They're just waiting for him to crack, waiting for that reaction they feed on. But for that second, Cato remains a mountain, calm, unchanged. And you can just feel their words starting to fall flat. And then you hit the third second, and everything changes. Suddenly, his silence is way more powerful than all of their noise. You can just see their confidence start to crumble. Their insults just hang there in the air, feeling totally empty and ridiculous. And this is the killer move right here. He doesn't come back with some clever comeback or a final perfect argument. He just looks at them and says, think whatever you want. It's not a defense, it's a complete dismissal. He's showing them that their opinion has zero power over him. And that moment, that's what leads to Cato's real transformation. It's not just a new trick he learned, it's a fundamental shift in how he sees himself and where his power truly comes from. Which brings us to the absolute heart of this whole story, the lion's code. These are the takeaways, right? Stop wasting your breath on people who refuse to listen. Realize that true power isn't about what they think, it's about what you know about yourself. Your actions speak louder anyway. And maybe most importantly, learn to recognize the battles that have no prize. After all, a lion doesn't concern himself with the opinion of hyenas.
And this is where it all clicks for Kato. He realizes he spent all this energy, so much time, trying to manage how other animals saw him, when the only opinion that ever really mattered was his own.
And that's the ultimate lesson here, isn't it? It's this incredibly freeing idea. A lion doesn't need to explain itself. A lion just is. It's about moving from a place of always needing to prove your worth to just living it. Your existence is all the justification you need.
So I guess that's the question I want to leave you with. Next time you're in that situation when you feel misunderstood or unfairly judged, are you going to fall into that trap and play the hyena's game? Or are you going to be the lion and just be?